bootleg podcasts made for everyone by anyone. You are listening to The Rating is Right, a game show podcast based around the movies you love and their ratings. Think The Price is Right with a lower budget, less Bruce, and no prizes. Introducing your host, Ian Crow.
It's the rating. It's the rating. Rating. It's the rating. It's the rating.
Hello and welcome to our 9th episode of The Rating is Right. So before I introduce my co-host, let's explain how this is going to work. Quite simply, my co-host will be guessing the ratings of a series of films, including whether they are higher or lower than the previous one. They'll be getting 1 point for a correct guess of higher or lower, an additional point for whoever is the closest, and a whopping 3 points for anyone lucky enough to guess the rating bang on. The current winner will guess first each round to give the other contestant an advantage and a chance to catch up. The winner at the end of the episode will have the honour and privilege of giving a recommendation of a film that takes their fancy. Now that's sorted. Let's meet my co-host. Is our current winner, I must just say current, that's been going on for quite a while now, Owen. Yeah. Our current winner and social media ghoster, and general just ghoster of our WhatsApp group, it's George Robinson.
Ghoster of the WhatsApp group. Haven't edited an episode in forever.
Haven't edited an episode for a while. You don't reply in the WhatsApp group. No. I send you reels. You can't see reels on Instagram.
Exactly.
Just generally, you just despise us.
I turn up, I win, and I fuck off.
He goes home. Yeah. And then we have our other co-host.
Serial loser.
Northampton Town fan, just in case you didn't know, a fellow cobbler. It's Owen Cox.
Hello.
I didn't want to go too holiday today, Owen, just because I feel like you're on a bit of a low. You haven't won. Since that famous episode, you haven't won. The famous last time we were actually together and recording at the same time. George, was Christmas. It's been 7 months since
Funnily
last
enough,
one.
When we have full view of George's hands, he never beats me.
You always see my hands, they're always on my head. Going,
So I just want to put out there, that's kind of like some kind of just... That's a bit of like motivation for you today.
I thought you could serve as a conspiracy theory.
Oh, maybe it could be a conspiracy theory, but it's not. You're just really bad at this game.
Yeah, you are.
You always seem to forget what the rules of this game are. So let's get started. So in the 9th episode, I will challenge Owen and George to guess the rating of the films of James Cameron.
Oh.
Let's hope
Very different reactions there. I wasn't too sure George was happy, but I know that Owen definitely wasn't happy with that. Initial reactions to James Cameron?
I'm not happy. I think there's not going to be as consistent numbers as I was maybe thinking.
Right.
I prefer his submarine work.
Unfortunately, the submarine work is not on this list. But we will get started. So instead of the 10 films, we have gone down to 8 because we can't get Owen to shut the fuck up. And we go over our threshold of what we want to be recording at. So hopefully in the future, you guys, will be a lot smaller episodes, like a lot shorter. But again, we've got Owen, so it might be actually a longer. So George, as you are the current champion of the podcast, you will be going first. And at this point, remember, you're just guessing the rating of the first film. So we're going to be starting with the sci-fi classic, The Terminator. So the first Terminator movie, George, what do you think the rating of The Terminator is on Metacritic?
First time I watched Terminator was on one of those really tiny shit TVs that went back really far.
Oh, yeah.
I was supposed to be asleep, and it was on like Channel 4 or something. Like one of those. And it was like seared in my brain.
He asked for the rating, not your biography.
The mind games have started.
The mind games have started.
It's a classic film. Everybody loves it.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I mean, if everyone loves it, it's 100%.
No, but
percent.
You know, yeah.
Fucking hell. It should be on 100 if everyone loves it. I mean, are you going with 100?
No, it's definitely not 100. I think there's a lot of like nostalgia around it, and I think a lot of people talk about it now favourably. I don't think there was a shift from Terminator 1 to T2, and I think it wouldn't have been a shift had it been
And what,
super.
when you say shifted, and shift in what way?
Like Terminator 1 was a lot more kind of suspenseful, not horror, but like it was very much like the suspense element of, oh, you're constantly being chased by this unstoppable force.
So kind of like borders on like kind of a thriller.
Exactly. Whereas the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
one was a lot more just action and still some kind of those elements, but
Could
like
you
being
argue
pursued
that
by
they're
it.
two different decades, the 80s and the 90s, that they
Yeah.
are so different because of the time of when they were made?
But there are films. Like, think of the Star Wars films, decades apart, but identical.
No, but but okay. Well, if we say that Alien, for example, then
Aliens. To be fair, Alien, that's a really good example.
two different decades.
Yeah. Damn. Well, now you changed everything.
I see. This is why I'm the host.
Yeah. I'm going to go in for 84.
You go with 84.
I'll go 84. Go that.
Right. Okay. Owen, thoughts on? Why have I got a feeling that you're going to be like, I haven't watched this film?
I watched it. I love Terminator.
Oh, you love
I prefer Terminator 2.
Yeah, 10 out of 2 is definitely
Everybody
the.
prefers
Yeah. Oh
Terminator.
yeah. Yeah.
Who directed Terminator 2?
James Cameron.
He directed both of them.
He did. Yeah.
Because he directed Aliens, but like, Ridley Scott directed Alien, didn't he?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love the Terminator film. The CGI at the end is awful. It is aged terribly. You know, he comes out of the molten lava.
Oh, what, you said talk about Terminator 2?
No, Terminator 1.
Not lava.
Yeah, when he traps him in the lava at the end and he comes out as like without skin.
No, that's.
Is that
Wait.
Terminator 2?
No, in Terminator, in the first Terminator, he gets like crushed.
Hmm.
He gets crushed in the like, hydraulic press
In
machine.
Terminator 2 is where they put him in the molten stuff at the end.
Oh, and
and
he
it's the
comes out.
thumb.
It's to destroy the cybernet chip to stop the future war from happening, or land a cybernet to then have the remnants of technology.
I've mixed my endings up.
The first one's when he's chasing Sarah Connor through like the warehouse, and then she crushes him in the like hydraulic machine.
Yeah, no, it's been so long since I've seen it. I like Terminator Salvation, weirdly.
I like Terminator 7.
Yeah.
The Christian Bale, Sam Worthington
Yeah.
movie, where famously Christian Bale had that really famous on-set rant.
Yeah.
Yeah, the greatest rant of all time.
The greatest rant of all time.
Yeah.
Although I would say the Tom Cruise recent
was
one.
pretty, the COVID one.
The
is pretty
COVID one,
close.
yeah, that was really great. But to be honest, I think he's got a point. They were going to shut the film down due to COVID.
Oh, he
Oh,
has got a
absolute-
massive point.
Absolutely,
But
yeah.
when, in the way that he says it makes him sound like the biggest
Biggest
arsehole,
dick.
because he's like, we're doing this for the future of cinema and all that shit.
Yeah,
like,
but again,
yeah,
Tom Cruise
bit
does
much.
put his money in. He's a producer,
Yeah.
so he does put like, his own
Puts
money.
his money where his
Whereas
mouth
like
is.
Christian Bale didn't put his own money.
The
into
Bale one's more
Terminator.
quotable.
The Bale
Yeah, oh,
one is very
absolutely.
good.
He needs to stop walking.
Because it was the cinematographer, right, that got into like the
No, I thought it was the boom.
oh, it was the boom.
Is-
Da
Oh,
da
the-
da da in the background.
It's like I like you, but we're done professionally. But Terminator, the first
Oh yeah,
Terminator,
yeah. Back to Terminator.
the first Terminator. So you think Terminator 2 is better?
Yeah.
But you were saying that Terminator, the first one, has aged.
Sorry to keep dragging out the first answer, but is the first Terminator the police station scene
No.
where he drives through the front of the
that's the
police
first
station?
one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Not the where she's in prison.
Yeah, where he absolutely slaughters and kills all the cops.
Yeah,
yeah,
that is a very good scene.
yeah. That's the first Terminator.
Yeah, I like Terminator. I prefer Terminator 2, but who cares?
I think that the audience care. I want to hear your opinion, but we'll get to Terminator 2. So don't say too much about Terminator 2. We'll get there.
I'm going to go higher than George.
Right.
In my mind, before he answered, I had 85. But I don't want to play them silly games where I get one back. So instead I'm going to go two of them. I'm going to go 86.
You got 86. Okay, do you know what? I'm going to say one of you's got a spot on straight away. Oh, it's George.
Fuck you.
That's only because he got to answer first.
Well, he's the current champion, so he has to go first. So, George, you've got the 3 points straight over, getting it spot on.
Oh.
And you just get the 1 point.
1 point for what?
Oh, wait, you get
He
no
didn't
point.
get it right or wrong.
Oh, yeah, he gets none.
Hey.
You get none of that one.
3-0, you
Sorry.
fucking chump.
That's not a great start for you, and I have to say.
Istanbul.
Do you know what the
It's
worst
not
thing
wrong.
about this is that I was going to go in the 70s until Ian was like, think about Alien, think about the changing decades and things
Collusion.
like that. So, cheers Ian.
Collusion.
I was going to say, I don't think that would have shaped anything
I want to dedicate this victory to...
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, edit me well. Right, so we'll move on. So the next film on the list is probably the only James Cameron film I haven't watched, and it's The Abyss. So is that higher or lower than the Terminator on 84? George, we go to you first.
I haven't seen it. I've had it on VHS.
Right.
That's all I remember.
It's literally it's not available anywhere. It's on no streaming service. I've been trying to watch it for years.
It's got the
Never available.
it's got the water sim CGI.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly.
What, the cover?
No, the film has got like a.
It's like a blue lettering.
Is it not the one with the footsteps in the snow, or is that the thing?
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I see, I'm getting two films mixed up.
Yeah, no, this is like, as far as I remember, they're really far below sea level, and there's like this water monster basically that infiltrates. They don't know if it's hostile, things like that. I'm looking to Ian for a quick synopsis if I've got that completely wrong.
Yeah, it's basically the diving team who are enlisted to search for a lost nuclear submarine and face danger while encountering an alien aquatic species.
Sounds quite good.
Ed Harris, Michael Biehn, so a good cast.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's probably one of the ones that, if you think of name a James Cameron movie, no one would say The Abyss first. It's kind of that one that's kind of in the middle of, like, from the Terminator Aliens and Terminator 2. It's kind of wedged in between those
Second season
classic
syndrome.
Yeah, second season syndrome. I guess it's that kind of movie. It's kind of not forgotten about, but it's not the most popular, well known of his filmography.
Yeah.
It started as strong as the Terminator, you know what I mean? It's a high bar.
I mean, technically, he didn't start with Terminator. He started with Piranha 3 or 2, but I didn't put it on the list because it's.
I did not know he did that.
Yeah, that was his first feature film.
Damn.
Yeah.
I prefer Piranha 3D.
3DD.
Yeah,
It was Piranha 3D.
Yeah.
So The Abyss.
So The Abyss,
none of us have watched it, so.
I think the only reason I know about The Abyss is because Corridor Crew did like a breakdown of the CGI because they were looking at water sims and how far they've come, looking at Way of the Water, and I think it was like ILM or someone that they hadn't from there on, or Weta maybe, and they would talk about like the intricacy of it because it's aged really badly, but for the time it's absolutely groundbreaking.
It's 1989, so
Yeah.
I think it's way over 30 years old, the film.
I mean, it looks shit. And janky, but you
Did you hear that, James Cameron? Your film looks fucking shit.
Yeah, you have to.
That's
like,
from George, who's literally hasn't made a single film in his life.
Oh, I've made 2.
Oh, he's made
shitty student short films.
have
Thank you
you?
very much. Yeah.
What, as a director?
Yeah.
I've made 2 movies.
I've
I've made 2 movies as well. How many?
I know yours. I've seen yours. Is it Alive?
Alive, yeah. They're the greatest short film of all time.
I've not seen either of them. I mean, I'm free tonight. I could watch one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of it?
I do.
How long is it? Are you plugging it, or are you just trying to get me to watch it?
Look, I can plug it right here, right now. It's called Alive. It's on YouTube. It's free to watch.
Is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube, but it is private, so you'd have to contact us directly if you want to watch it.
Exclusive.
If you're really that desperate to watch, you've got nothing else to watch, you don't want to waste your time, definitely watch it. But yeah, anyway, George does have some experience. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
James Cameron, take that.
Yeah. Fucking suck it, James
Fuck
Cameron.
yeah.
You multi-billionaire.
Bastard.
Sorry to
Stop saving cinema.
Sorry to interrupt your answer before we go on, but I want to know more about your short film.
So,
Is it a romance?
I made 2. One of them is a romance.
Yeah.
Are you the
About...
lead? George
No.
wrote the theme tune. Something.
one man show.
Awful.
Definitely a fantasy, isn't it?
No, one's like a really shitty romancy thing about a guy who wakes up after a heavy night of drinking, realizes he's done a load of shit things, and goes back and
Isn't that the Hangover?
corrects. No, like 'cause it's similar to Hangover, but I think maybe before the Hangover came out. But like goes back and like goes
The
back and
Hangover ripped
corrects.
off George.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
exactly. Yeah.
Give us the money.
Goes back and corrects like the things he's done. Like he finds out what he's done and corrects it as he goes back like through his memories. And then the second one was a thing about a child who got abused, and then he has like he has like flashbacks.
Is it a self-insert?
No,
Keeping it light on the mate.
Yeah.
You went to
Podcast.
Catholic school, right?
not for this. This is my session in school.
Just in case you've forgotten, you are listening to a movie podcast. We're not talking about child abuse or making up for mistakes when you're blind drunk.
Yeah. I mean, the second one was the first one was shit. The second one was actually really good, and I have not got any copies of it.
Oh.
I've completely lost it to the world because I did it all on my ex's Mac, and I never got it off of there.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Damn, jealous. She's got she watches that every weekend, I bet.
Relives the good times.
On her letterbox account, it's her reviewing that every weekend.
Review of it. The Abyss.
The Abyss, yes.
Yeah, clearly no one cares about it. And
It's a shit film,
and it's
apparently,
shit.
yeah.
So I'm going to say that it's definitely lower than Terminator, and I'm going to go all the way down to... I'm going to say that it's not like career ending for anyone involved or anything like that, so it's not that low. So we're going to go 62.
62.
Ooh. I'm going to go lower than my previous answer, which was 86.
Okay.
I haven't really got much more to add.
You don't need to go lower than your previous answer. You have to go lower or higher than the score, the rating of
84.
the previous film.
So it's not too far off. unless I went, I don't know, anything higher than 80. Yeah. So yeah, lower than 84.
Do you want to give me a number? Again,
pass.
Part of the game. I'm like, what to today?
Do you know what? I'm going to go. I reckon James Cameron, almost all of his films have been received positively, as far as I'm aware. I'm going to say 71.
71. Okay, so both of you are right with being lower. I've also got another spot on. It's George.
Oh, come on. You gave me a hint earlier of what we were doing.
How did I give him a hint?
He gave you the same hint.
Yeah,
I
that's
literally
why it's
said
M. Night Shyamalan. I've looked at all of M. Night Shyamalan's films.
We said
I'm not going to remember that if you put it again.
We said it was a white male director. That was my clue. And you went to
Name is a giveaway.
one of the only male directors who's not white. So just a recap of the score after round 2: George 6, Owen 1. This is embarrassing. But we'll quickly move on to a film that we kind of briefly touched on, Aliens, which is the sequel to Alien, the 1980s sci-fi action epic. Aliens, is it higher or lower than The Abyss on 62 George Robinson?
I feel the pressure to get a third spot on in a row now.
There's a lot of pressure
Just
right
because,
now.
that'll be a
Like,
real
I-
fucking
I-
stomping.
I'm going to put it out there. If you get a spot on again, I think it's game over already.
Yeah.
We're only doing 8 rounds.
We're doing 8, yeah.
Yeah, so we just pack up and go home.
Yeah, George, Owen's literally going to pack his bag and drive back.
I haven't unpacked my bags yet.
Perfect. Get out even quicker.
He knew what was coming.
George
He was
is
like,
here just writing the rest of the films by himself.
Aliens.
Aliens. So,
Better than Alien.
oh, you think it's better? Okay, George, actually, really interestingly, I watched Aliens again last weekend.
Yeah.
For the first time in a couple of years. And it's not as good as I remember it being. I thought it was almost like a 5-star movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I always this is fucking stunning. It's amazing. I went down to 4.5, 4-star.
The dialogue isn't great.
Thinking,
Yeah.
well, actually, is Alien better?
Alien 3 is good.
See, I hear a lot of people, that's a very, unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
But it's
Is it Sigourney? No, not Sigourney Weaver. It's
David Fincher who directed
Who's
it.
the lady from Stranger Things?
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder's in Alien 3.
So she's in Alien Resurrection.
But she's in both of them.
No, she's in Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
Not in Alien.
Is she not in Alien 3?
No. Sigourney Weaver's the only female, because it's an all-male prison.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
No, apart from the little girl.
Oh, is she?
Newt.
No, she dies.
In Alien 3.
We need to rewatch
Yeah,
the
literally the start of Alien 3 is at the start off that hits. Like Michael Bean's character.
Yeah.
And Newt didn't make it.
Oh,
Pretty sure that's how it starts.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
that's why a lot of people hate Alien 3.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you just killed off 2 of the characters
Yeah.
from the last movie.
I do remember that.
What the fuck?
Couldn't get them on board with the source material.
Well, apparently they just didn't even approach them.
No.
They just went,
Who
no.
directed Alien 3?
David Fincher. But
Fincher.
he famously has said that he didn't, because it was his
He's
first
removed his
movie.
name from it.
Yeah, because he came from the music video era.
Studio interference.
And then he did loads of big adverts. I think he did a Coca-Cola advert, he did Madonna music videos, and then went into that too big of a film for
Yeah.
him to be involved in, and they took it over, and he was like, "This is not my movie," effectively.
Yeah.
But he's done well since. He's done alright. But Aliens. So you think Aliens is better than Alien?
I think it's better than Alien just because I watched Alien when I was young, like most things, and thought, this looks crap. So I'm not interested in it.
And you hate Ridley Scott.
And I hate Ridley Scott, as we've established.
You do.
And then going back to it, I only went back to it, I want to say last year, properly, to give it a good go, and I watched all of the Alien films. And I was still a bit like, oh, it's just a bit dull. Like, it's not as gripping and intense. And, like, the Alien Isolation game does a better job of what the first Alien film was trying to do.
Joking.
John, no, I got to disagree. I got to say that they're 2 different mediums. And I feel like when you're playing, because I've played Alien Isolation,
Yeah.
and I
I
literally
apart from the longer bits. With
I
the
would just be
cyborgs
I'd
and
just be
stuff.
hiding in a fucking locker for half an hour, just getting trying to just be brave enough just to leave and
can't
try
do
and
it.
find
I
and just
can't
run
play
into
it.
another cupboard somewhere and just hide. It took me ages to finish the game, but I loved it. But you're making the decisions, whereas with Alien, you're obviously just watching events play out. You have no
Yeah, it's so
you have no
slow.
hand. I don't know. Okay,
yeah.
well, whatever, right?
But whatever. Yeah, so I prefer Aliens, but I know that isn't. I know most people look at the first one and they go, "That's groundbreaking,"
Yeah.
and some people are kind of unhappy with the more action film element of Aliens versus more suspenseful thriller.
Yeah, but I suppose like if you've gone from Alien, which is kind of horror sci-fi,
Yeah.
one Alien is claustrophobic,
Mhm.
whereas what do we do to be completely different? Again, different decade.
That's true.
Let's just make fucking shitloads of them. There's like 100 of them on this planet, and there's this massive queen
Yeah.
alien that is literally the size of a fucking house,
Yeah.
like creating babies
Yeah.
left, right, and centre.
See, that's a much better concept.
So basically, we found out that George prefers action sci-fi as opposed to horror sci-fi.
I see. I don't think that's true though.
Do you like The Thing? John Carpenter's
Yeah.
The Thing.
I really
That's-
like the thing.
Yeah, that's great.
That's fantastic.
But then again, though, that's a bit more. That's different to Alien because with Alien, obviously, you know that there's one
yeah.
kind of. It's just you know what it looks like, capture
Yeah.
the threat. Whereas with the Thing, you don't know what the actual thing looks like, and it mimics people.
I think it's
So-
growing up, I guess, like the age that we are, there's been so many monster movies where there is a single monster and it's just killing people off.
Mm.
And even like slasher films are the same. Like the characters just die one by one. And I think because for us, we're used to sci-fi and these different creatures and monsters and aliens and things like that. When it is just one creature killing things off, it's hard to be like, ooh, original and
But
exciting.
that does happen in Aliens though. They do get
No,
killed off
yeah,
one by one.
But
don't
there's more like excitement to it because it's more like action packed. I guess you're not waiting
Right.
a long time for things to get going at the start of it.
And the
You're
lady
not-
who wears the bandana's cool.
Lady that wears the bandana's cool.
Oh yeah.
So
Cortez, yeah.
like all of this sort of thing, like all the Marines, it's just a bit more fun. I guess
Right.
is the way to say
It's
it.
an easier watch.
I didn't say it's
Easier
a
watch. So-
popular or.
So right, let's get your rating.
No, yeah, let's get the
Because
rating,
I
yeah.
really want to hear Owen's opinion.
So
on
let's
Aliens
go.
as well.
So it's definitely higher than 62.
62.
I'm gonna say that it's not as high as Terminator though. I'm gonna go 75.
75. Okay, right. Aliens. So do you agree with George that Aliens is better than Alien?
No.
Or you're an Alien? You're an Alien.
Alien. I prefer thriller over action all day long.
Right. Okay. So you're an Alien fan.
Suspenseful thriller. I don't know where he's getting off saying it's not suspenseful and it's a
It's
long
definitely
horror
suspenseful.
film. It's one of the most suspenseful films I've ever seen. It's literally the blueprint for suspenseful horror.
From rewatching Aliens last
Creature
weekend,
horror,
I
anyway.
would say that I think Alien has swayed to being the better Alien
Yeah.
movie. Personally, I think.
Alien's like one of the bunch, whereas Aliens is like one of the bottle.
But the
Bottle.
what do you mean?
One of the bottle.
Like it's like a carbon copy type. It's like
Oh,
off
right.
the shelf.
Okay. Is this is like a corporate making machine movie?
What, Aliens?
Aliens, yeah.
The more, I think it's less of a passion project for Ridley Scott and more of a cash grab now.
Because it's James Cameron.
Because James Cameron. It's literally we're doing a James Cameron podcast.
Well, I mean Prometheus and the more modern ones.
Oh yeah.
And Alien,
Oh, right, okay.
Predator and all that shit.
yeah, we don't talk about those films. Don't exist.
Alien.
Actually, do you know what?
Is it?
Alien.
Would you like me to do the thing? Then?
You
You know, what's his name?
You have David.
Yeah,
you have
Michael Fassbender.
already quoted that in a previous
Oh, it's one of
podcast
the
episode.
best- one of the best scenes.
Is that your favourite scene in movie
It's
history?
one of my core memories of seeing a film in the cinema is the whole crowd sniggering when he said that. Would you like me to do the thing? It's just brilliant.
Mark Fassbender, great guy.
Yeah.
Terrible agent. Terrible casting. When was the last good film he was in?
Mark Fassbender, we've seen a bit of a break, to be fair.
But
But he did have a bit of a bad run, though.
Films.
Yeah, he's in Taika Waititi's new movie, which is coming out this year.
He's on the combat trail.
He's on the combat trail.
So Aliens. I do like Aliens, but I think Aliens superior. I'm snobbish when it comes to the
Luckily, you
franchise.
only have to compare it to The Abyss.
Yeah, which the Abyss was 62. So do you think Aliens is higher than The Abyss?
Yeah,
on
I think it's
62.
higher. But I don't think it's super high. I feel like people would have reviewed it comparing it to the first one. At the time, I think the first one was probably held in such high regard
Mm.
for that period of time that maybe people were a bit down on the second one because it was such a shift in tone.
Mm.
So I'm going to say What did you say?
75.
75. I'm going to say 72, so higher than the previous score.
Okay, so you're both right of it being higher. Owen is the closest. You're only one out. It's on 73. So you get the 2 points. Owen, that takes you up to 3, and George you get the 1. So it's 7-3 to George. So Owen has closed the gap. So let's move on to the halfway point, which is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Personally, one of my favourite movies of all time. And just want to put it out there, Judgment Day is my birthday, August 29th. So I would have been celebrating my 3rd birthday. I think it's like 95, 96, my 3rd or 4th birthday. I'm dead. Life as I know it is over. The podcast doesn't exist. I never met you two. I just got to school, potty trained, all that. Thinking life, I've got my whole life in front of me, and then I'm being murdered by cyborgs.
Exactly.
Showing your age, because we weren't even born.
I was.
I mean, yeah, you were.
Well, you
So
late
nice.
30s.
Yeah, I'm John Connor.
Yeah.
So, Terminator 2, George, you're still in the lead, mate. So you get to go first again.
Do I not get to go first because I won the previous round?
No,
but you
it's
get an advantage by me going first.
Yeah, you
better
do.
for you.
Yeah, because you can see what George
So
has
far, it
done.
hasn't been. I feel like I've been pigeonholed so far.
This is you know the rules. The rules haven't changed since the
'cause
first episode.
you can listen to all of the conversations.
That doesn't mean I can't influence the rules if I already know.
Do you actually think that Owen listens to anything that we've been
No,
saying?
true.
It's
it's just a monkey banging cymbals.
And just hearing on the microphone, just Owen going.
I'll allow George to go first.
Thank you.
Appreciate
I mean, we're going to do that anyway, but
we not doing letterbox.
we're not doing letterbox.
No letterbox.
No letterbox today.
Okay.
Because we don't have enough time.
Okay.
But yeah, letterbox may come back in the future.
The Gremlin dude or chick.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Gizmo fan.
They'll come back.
We need to get them as a special guest at some
Yeah,
point.
we should.
do. Yeah,
Reach
we
out
need
to
to
Gizmo
contact
fan.
out. So Aliens was 73.
Cool. I mean, T2's fantastic.
Zuki loves T2.
It's so good.
It's one of my favourite movies. What?
So we won't talk about it on the podcast.
I was waiting for someone to bring it up.
Unless you want.
Oh wait, yeah. Right, yeah.
Edit that out. Anyway.
Right, so George, so you get to go first, as you are in the lead. So Terminator 2 Judgment Day, higher or lower than Aliens on 73?
Definitely higher.
Definitely higher.
I
Okay.
think it is universally loved.
Yeah, no one who doesn't
I
like it.
don't know anyone
Right.
that doesn't like it.
Yeah.
From the first watch to every subsequent watch, it's just still outstanding. I'm going really up there. I'm going 95.
95. Okay, so that will be the highest so far,
so
if that is correct. Do you think it is honestly just the best
Yeah.
Terminator?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Without
not.
a shadow of
It's not hard to
No,
be
no,
like
not at all.
the best, and I think it's because I think you were saying Aaron about the Terminator Day being a little bit dated, and I think there is one
The
scene when
CGI
he's doing the self work to get his eye out and all that, and that's dated a little bit.
It doesn't rely on CGI though. That's the good thing. That CGI is very minimal, but
It's minimal,
Yeah.
but the CGI that they use, it's groundbreaking. And I still think the CGI in Terminator 2, which was 1991, which is over 30 years ago, is better than any CGI there's in a movie.
You haven't seen
Yeah.
Waterworld.
I have seen Waterworld.
Waterworld.
Well, I'd say Terminator 2 CGI is definitely better than the CGI in Waterworld.
Some of the Waterworld CGI was a bit shit.
Controversial opinion. Wait till the Waterworld fan base says you say. We're a very, very small community.
Oh god, we have to bat off those 2 emails in our Gmail account. The big Waterworld fans of the Kevin Costner 90s movie. Sorry guys. But I'd say Terminator 2 is an example of if you put in the time and effort with good CGI, it can be timeless.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on Terminator 2. I want to hear Owen's opinion on.
Sorry, just while we are talking about
You haven't
CGI,
given a score.
Yeah.
I know
Yes,
you
I did. I do think James Cameron is really good for putting in the work with the CGI.
Yeah.
Like he seems like a guy who's not pushing the animators in like crunch time or anything like that. Just being like, it's going to take as long as it's going to take to make this, but make it look perfect. Like, I mean, just look at Avatar, for example. Yeah. Like, they're not being rushed out. It's very much like it has to look good. Having said that, I think Way of the Water is pretty janky, but...
I think it's the one thing you could say about The Way of Water, which we will come to, is that although I say I'm not a big fan of it, it's a bit long. I didn't like the story necessarily, but visually, it's absolutely stunning. And there's no bit in that movie where I thought
disagree.
Really, I didn't think there was any part of it I thought that doesn't look great.
Did you watch it in cinema?
Yeah.
I watched it at home.
I watched it in
Yeah.
the cinema. Didn't watch it night, just regular screening.
Yeah.
It did look incredible, but again, yeah, I don't think story-wise it's a strong guess.
No.
But
we'll get there.
we'll get to that point. So George went with 95,
95.
for Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh, I think that's too high. What's the highest we've ever had? Like 96?
Ever?
98.
8?
What was 98?
So that
Was
was
it
that
Tarantino?
was it Tarantino or was it Saving Private Ryan maybe or
Something like that.
Yeah.
yeah?
Like
Can't remember
a
what it was.
deserving film.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
deserving. Yeah.
Was
Yes,
I
a Dark
love
Knight.
Terminator.
Is it a Dark Knight?
Oh, maybe actually.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in years, though, weirdly. I've seen it a lot as a kid because it seemed to be on TV a lot when I was a kid.
It's on Channel 4. Awful.
Mm.
Yeah. What more is there to say other than what George has said? So I don't like following him on because he just steals all the best points. And then steals the points at the end of the round as well. I think 95 might be too high. I feel like action films never get that much love. I feel like they do get love, but like they're never critical darlings.
But would you call this like a stereotypical like action?
No, it's like a
I
benchmark.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's a film that's been ripped off by like so many other films.
Yeah.
It's like a trendsetter. I'm going to go 92.
I see you go 92. Is that
92.
you're locked in?
Locked in.
Okay. Yeah. So you're both right with being higher. So 75.
Oh,
75.
Told ya.
It's lower than the Terminator by 9. But
why?
Owen is the closest, so he gets the 2 points. George gets the 1, so the score is 8-5 to George.
Oh, close
So
to the gap.
let's.
Before we move on,
Yes.
do you what's the theory behind why it's so low?
This is more action.
I probably think that. I think because of Terminator, it's a more smaller world.
Mhm.
It's an original idea as well.
It's more
Yeah.
story driven as well.
Yeah, it's more story driven. Terminator 2 is a lot longer.
Yeah.
But obviously a bit more ambitious as it needed to be.
And that was a child actor.
I disagree that Terminator's rated higher than Terminator 2.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably why it's a sequel. I think it was probably seen as it's a big budget Hollywood sequel.
Yeah.
Like a summer blockbuster, whereas Terminator was a bit more lower budget, original idea. James Cameron wasn't as established as he was, because at that point he got to Terminator 2, Aliens, The Abyss, and Terminator. He had it under his belt at the time. So I think that's probably maybe the reasons why. But I honestly do think Terminator 2 is superior.
Yeah.
But before we do move on, this is the last of the Terminator, so do you have anything to say about the sequels that James Cameron has absolutely nothing to do with? Apart from Dark Fate, where he did technically produce and he now has the rights back to the franchise.
The less said, the better, I think.
Yes.
Wait, did he produce Dark Fate?
He produced Dark Fate, yeah.
And then when it was like review bombed,
He
An awful
he,
came out,
he
I was like,
endorsed it
"Ugh."
personally. He endorsed it and said, I'm involved,
Yeah.
go see it.
is it the one with
I'm
Amelia
pre-
Clark?
No, that's Genesis.
Who fucking
Dark
knows
Fate
what
is when they
it is
brought
now?
back Linda Hamilton.
Oh, the most recent.
Oh,
one.
Dark Fate wasn't as bad.
It wasn't that
actually.
bad.
I was getting that and Genesis mixed
Yeah,
up.
Genesis was
fucking
the attempted reboot
Yeah, that's
where they changed the whole timeline. It
because
was
John Connor was a robot.
John Connor was
Yeah.
which was fucking ridiculous. And then they roles reversed all of the lines. Like Sarah Connor's the one who did "Stay with me if you want to live,"
Yeah.
or "Come with me if you want to live."
Stay with me if you want.
Stay with me.
That classic line.
It's that classic line that's always said by everyone. But Dark Fate, yeah, I didn't mind Dark Fate. I saw it in the cinema. I thought it was all right.
Salvation's underrated.
Salvation, I don't
Salvation.
like.
I got that as part of the Terminator Salvation 2012 and Children of Men were in like a box type thing.
Right.
Such a random.
That's always a
It's like
standard.
apocalypse films.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Because I think when 4K was when it first came out, you got a random box that had Assassin's Creed, Battleship, 2012. These 5 terrible action.
Yeah.
Who's going to buy that for 75 quid? It's so overpriced.
I mean, you did.
I didn't. I didn't buy it.
You got Terry and Jack Ski for Christmas.
It had Harry Potter on it. Right, let's move on to a film that I'm not sure if you guys have watched. True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. Any of you watched True Lies?
Have I seen True Lies? No.
No. Could you give us a synopsis, please?
Right, so True Lies stars Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnie. Arnie is basically like an undercover agent, but his wife, Jamie Lee Curtis, doesn't know this. just thinks he's like some kind of like salesman insurance kind of guy. But then she then finds out that he is like some kind of undercover agent, and then she gets lured in, kind of sucked into this job that he's doing. So it's there, it kind of explores their relationship. So it's kind of like a spy movie, but it's got a kind of romance.
You've got like action elements.
There's a lot of action.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 2.5 hour James Cameron action
Right.
extravaganza, but it's kind of like a different, it's got like the added romance kind of element to it. It's a little bit different to kind of...
So the action's the main part, the romance is like the
romance is a
subplot.
pivotal kind of character arc to it, because as a couple, they're kind of drifting apart. But as they then kind of get put in and forced into a situation they don't want to be in, he doesn't want her there because he wants to protect her.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be there because she's this kind of innocent housewife.
Right.
But then she comes kind of like this badass, I'm actually loving this kind of life. And then they also then have to do this all together.
Okay.
Yeah, that is True Lies.
Like Night and Day.
Night and Day, I guess.
The
yeah.
Tom Cruise,
the Tom Cruise, Cameron Diaz
film.
But they're better.
I haven't seen that either.
It's pretty good.
True Lies is better. I'd say True Lies, again, is one of those ones that is in between like classics of James Cameron's
If you were going to give
filmography.
it a rating out of 100, where would you put it?
Pass.
Yeah.
My rating's not important. Your rating is important, Josh, because you're on the lead currently. So
Okay.
let's hear your... Going by my absolute destroying of the synopsis of True Lies. It's got Arnie and Jamie Lee Curtis, basically. What is the rating of True Lies?
What was T2?
T2 is 75.
It's really hard when you haven't seen the film. I'm assuming it's pretty good because, I mean, I've heard people talk about True Lies. I'm fairly certain you've spoken to me about True Lies before. When did this come in terms of Jamie Lee Curtis's career?
This is 94. So obviously Jamie Lee Curtis had done Halloween in the 70s and done some sequels back
So it's
then.
like two household names.
Yeah, absolutely. The massive names. This is definitely Arnie.
Yeah.
Especially
Peak Arnie.
in the 90s, he made so
Yeah.
much money. This is also pre Batman and Robin and stuff like that. So coming off his kind of 80s
Hype.
fame as well and hype. Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's higher than 75. I don't feel comfortable saying it's much higher on the basis of I haven't seen the film. So I'm gonna say 78.
Cool. Yeah, 78. Okay, so you're going higher than Terminator 2.
Oh, but then when you say it like that, it's
but I'm
not
saying,
comfortable.
I'm establishing that you're going higher than the last one, so you're going higher with 78.
Only because T2 is a travesty that it's at 75.
Right, so you're going higher, 78.
Higher, 78.
Owen? Higher or lower than 75
Could be
Terminator
more chance.
2?
I've never heard of this piece of shit, so...
I've never even heard of it.
I've never even heard of it.
No, heard of True
I haven't
Lies.
seen Jamie Lee Curtis in a film other than the Halloween series. Saying that...
Wait,
What?
you've watched
You've seen Knives Out?
Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Nope, haven't seen that.
Have you not?
No.
What? Oh, you'd love
Everywhere all at once.
Everything Everywhere All
It's
at
like the
Once. So it's that the Asian movie that like swept the Oscars this year.
I don't pay attention to the Oscars.
Oh,
No,
come
but it's-
on.
They're way more pressing than that. Than
Oh,
the
it's
Oscars.
really good. You'd really like it.
It's
weird,
it's
so
a
good.
fantastic original.
Yeah.
Like-
Is it a superhero film?
No.
It's just like that.
You would love it.
You would love it. And you've seen Knives Out.
I've seen Knives Out, but it wasn't particularly memorable for me. I didn't really enjoy it that much. What's this film called? True Lies?
True Lies.
I've never even heard of it.
That's mad.
You've not heard of True Lies?
Nope, never.
So that's one to watch. Go watch True Lies.
Maybe I'll add
this
it
week.
to my
Add it to your
list,
list.
sorry. Yeah. I'm going to say it's low. I think you've gone too high.
Well, I think I have as
I
well.
think because we've
Well,
got
you're
high
you're
ratings,
locked in now, George, so you can't change. So
Because all the ratings have been high so far, I feel like you've been like hoodwinked into like staying high.
Yeah.
I'm going to go lower.
yeah,
I'm going to say 68.
68. So you're going lower 68. You've gone higher 78. George is incorrect. Owen is right.
Is that 3 in a row?
So that means you get the 2 points. Owen, George gets done. So the points are George 8, Owen 7.
It's so well.
Owen 7. I just want to say that The True Lies was the third highest grossing film of 1994 behind The Lion King and Forrest Gump. So it did extremely well against
What
two.
was the rating of it? Sorry?
Juggernauts.
The rating, of True Lies was 63. So just one above The Abyss. So the second lowest rating.
You stuck yourself in that area of thinking everything was above 70.
I know.
Because you're going off T2.
I just want
I
to
know.
just recap. So we've got 3 films left. George was 6-1 up with 2 spot on. 6-1 is now 8-7.
He does
So
have
you've
Tottenham
done
connections.
very well. So let's move on. You'll still be going first. You are still in the lead. The next two on the list is Titanic.
Zuki's never seen Titanic yet.
Oh,
Oh.
Titanic.
I was shocked by that.
Wow. Okay.
Never
I
seen
feel
it.
like everyone's watched Titanic. That is the movie.
You watched it as a kid. Like,
That's why it
kid,
made
yeah.
so much money, because people went to go watch it 4 or 5 times in the cinema. It had that rewatchability that people watched so much.
The first time I watched Titanic was over the road at my friend's house, the Wallers, and then
The Wallers?
They were called the Wallers.
The Wallers.
Yeah, Luke and Adam Waller. It made me so sad that I couldn't finish it. I went back across the road to my house, went into my garden, was swinging on a swing on my own, really sad. Thought, I know I'll cheer myself up by jumping off the swing. Jumped off, turned around, the swing smacked me in the nose, and I had a massive nosebleed for the rest of the day. So
it makes me feel better about you being in the lead.
Yeah. It's like the saddest thing. And then obviously I watched it properly.
So we've all watched Titanic.
Well, apart from Zuki.
Zuki wears it as a badge of honour that she hasn't seen it. I've said to Zuki,
She needs to get over that.
when we've had
She
nothing
needs
to
to
do on a Saturday night, I've said, let's watch Titanic.
Perfect.
No, she's like so against
The
it.
problem is that you've got to start at like 6 p.m. because it's over 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So it's not when you can start at like 8 or 9 on a Saturday. Yeah, it's a long movie. I always say it's maybe.
But it's worthwhile.
Is it worthwhile? Should it be that long?
It has to be that long.
Nearly 3.5 hours long.
Gather the magnitude of what happened. It has to be that long.
Right.
I rarely agree with Owen. I wholeheartedly agree.
It's reaching out to me.
Yeah, exactly. Reaching across the
You'll
aisle.
touch it. I felt that. I don't know. You can't feel that. There's some kind of like magnetic energy there between you two. That's just why there's a chair in between you, because it's just too dangerous. So George, Titanic. Do you like Titanic? You haven't really kind of made it clear if you feel like it's.
I think it's a fantastic film.
Right.
I think this and The Abyss. I think James Cameron got into a little bit of like there were some issues with keeping your actors in water for too long and giving them hypothermia.
Yes. Yeah.
That sort of thing. But like the effort that went to it, like the miniatures, the CGI, the practical effects, like everything is so meticulous.
Although I will say there is one scene.
Is it the?
It's like it's like a pan and shot of Titanic when it's kind of passing through the sea.
Yeah.
And they're all like figurines.
Yeah.
Or they're all like really badly animated. You can tell it's so obvious. It's
Oh, really?
It's the most obvious. Like, I saw it pop up the other day and it reminded me how bad that scene is.
Yeah.
It's like the NPCs from like a 1990 like a PS2 game or something.
One shot in like an over 3 hour film.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Let it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So personally, I don't think it's incredible. I think it falls under the same thing as like Avatar, where the story is a bit so-so. Like it's fine. It's good because it's this like big historical disaster, and so that makes it more interesting. But it's kind of the way that the film was made and the magnitude of it, which makes it.
They don't glorify the tragedy.
No.
No.
They don't glorify the violence either. It's more of like it's sad, isn't it? It's like a song.
It's very sad. Like the old people cuddling in bed as the water's filling their cabin. It's like
the musicians on deck.
All of that sort of stuff makes it a good film. Like there's elements of it that are like fantastic little pockets, and as a whole, it's just well made.
And I think it's one of those movies kind of because it's a 97, isn't it? Titanic.
Kate Winslet's boobs.
Kate Winslet boobs. What else is there to say than that? You can't really top Kate.
That's the first boobs I've ever seen.
Kate Winslet's boobs. That's a strong start.
I was 4.
Oh, that might have been.
Might be the first boobs I've ever seen.
Not bad for a pair of boobs.
Breakthrough on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. The tail just moved. George. And what I was going to say is I feel like it's one of those movies that is... I can't think of many movies kind of after that which would have used kind of a lot of practical stuff. I feel like after we kind of left, because it's late 90s, as going into the 2000s, that's when kind of CGI started kind of being heavily involved. But they also had so much stuff. They had, apparently, they had 5 million gallons of water on set, which is just absolutely insane. And the film itself, bearing in mind like the scale of the movie, what they do, what they achieve, $200 million budget, which actually is about $300 million less than The Flash. Which came out a little bit earlier this year.
Yeah.
And if you could compare the quality of Titanic and The Flash, it's like night and day.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it goes. It's the change of like speed. People want to get films out quick now.
Yeah.
Whereas
speed reference after talking about The Flash, I like it.
yeah, there you
what
go.
I need.
Are we going to get a copyright strike?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So I was singing a song from Speed from Billy Idol that I really like. Sorry.
Billy Idol's great, isn't he?
Oh yeah. That sounds great. Anyway,
Titanic.
Yes.
It's definitely higher than 60. Sorry, what was last? 63.
63. Yep.
63, definitely higher than 63. I mean, I want to go up into the 90s again because I feel like
You get some in your own head. Sorry to interrupt.
I mean, some in your own head. I went from 6'1" to 8'7". Like, it's hard not to be in your own head.
That vein's popping out the side.
I know.
Of his head. I could see it.
They
got
could
a
have
mind
made
of
it.
its
They
own.
could have used 5 gallons of George's sweat.
That's free shit, though.
Yeah, I think I want to go to the 90s, but I'm going to go a bit lower than the 90s. So still higher than 63. I'm going to say that it is 89. Commercially, it did...
Commercially?
I can't say the word commercially.
Scotland. He's on the summer holidays. He's forgot he's a teacher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's been a whole week.
He's lost his edge.
Commercially, it did insanely well.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the Avatar thing of it looks phenomenal. So you go see it like for the effect, not just for the story. Whereas if it was just focused on story, and I think a lot of critics will look at that a bit more than the whole process. So I'm going to say 89.
I mean, it did okay to $2.2 billion.
No.
It's done all right.
It's done all right.
It's done all right, yeah.
Where is it on the list? Third.
It's third, I believe, yeah.
What's the top 2? Avatar and...
Avatar 2, I think, is it?
Is it?
Or Endgame.
Is it Endgame? I thought
Yeah.
it was Endgame.
Yeah. So, what was you going with? Sorry, George, I missed that.
I went 89.
89, so you've gone higher 89. Owen,
It's higher than 89. It's got
Titanic.
How can it not be higher than 89?
Yeah, but I'm bottling it.
It's one of the most loved films of all time. Beloved. Do you know what? I'm not even a huge fan of Titanic. I appreciate the magnitude of the film. I think it's a really good film. It's well directed. It's well acted. It respects the tragedy itself. It doesn't it's not egregious. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
It respects the legacy of the Titanic and respects those who passed. It's got to be in the 90s. It's got to be. Did it win Oscars? How many Oscars? Did it
Oh, yeah.
That was yeah. I was hoping you would go down.
I'm going to say it won 4 Oscars. Can you look it up?
Yeah, I'll double check.
See,
I think it won more than that.
It did.
I'm pretty sure it won like 11.
I only started thinking about
Double
the Oscars
six.
after I was locked in. I suddenly remembered that the Oscars was a thing.
I'm glad you went first this time.
I've bottled it.
13 Oscars. It won Best Visual Score, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Cinematography, Best Visual Effects, Best Production Design, Costume Design, Sound Mixing, Film Editing, Sound Editing, Actress,
Clean
Supporting
sweep.
Actress, Makeup and Hairstyling.
They must have said...
I'm pretty sure that is... Oh, wait, sorry. Did it win 11 Oscars? Sorry, it won 11, nominated for 13.
Wow. They must have run out of cast members to send over to collect.
Yeah.
Send the T-boy up.
Yeah, well, Kate Winslet won, and Kathy Burt. Sorry, what's her name? She's from...
Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. Sorry, Kathy Bates won Best Supporting. Yeah, so DiCaprio wasn't even nominated.
The woman
Titanic.
Kathy Bates played, what's her name? Do you remember?
I can find out.
She's like...
She Rose's mum or something.
Yeah.
the woman her character was based on was like badass in real life. She had like a rich husband who died and she inherited all his money and I was like badass with it.
You just spunked it away, or?
But she was just like feminist at it.
Oh, right.
I watched like a documentary once about the true
Molly Brown.
Molly Brown, yeah.
Titanic.
I'm maybe exaggerating the truth there. Maybe she made her own money in a time where women didn't really make loads of money as like businesswomen. I'm sure she was like really successful and come from like a poor background.
Coming up next on the Molly Brown podcast.
I just know that she was like really cool. I just know that she was really cool in real life.
So have you picked a number that you're going with, Owen?
You did. He said 100. Wow.
Wow, I thought I had 101.
I'm going for the tactical vote. I'm going 9-0.
Oh, you're absolutely...
So you've got 89.
I think it's in the 90s,
George.
but I'll just go in 9-0 because I can have that whole 10.
Right, so you've got 90, Owen, George, you've got 89. So it is higher than True Lies. It's on 75.
Oh, fuck off! Fuck off! No!
75.
Show me!
No, I can't.
You can't
He's
show
got
you. He's got the other scores up.
Get Titanic up!
Just for the listeners that aren't watching, Owen is out of his seat.
When was Metacritic created?
It doesn't matter when it's in
75.
That's bollocks.
bollocks.
75.
Oh, who's the bulge up now?
That is bollocks.
That's
so-
what you get for trying to edge me out.
Going into the
I'll do more
penultimate
than
round.
I'll wake you off the camera.
So before we go into the penultimate round, George is on 10, Owen's on 8, so it's still so close. Before we go to the next film, question, Could Jack fit on that floating door?
No.
No, because wasn't there an actual scientific experiment that worked out that he could...
Mythbusters did it. and
Right.
He could not.
Didn't
But
actually
it's
happen.
so
It's
big.
not real.
That door's massive. Surely
It was the gesture.
But surely he could just lay on her, like, to be like one on top of each other. They don't have to be like next to each other. They're on top.
He was already in the water. His legs had already frozen.
Yeah, I think.
Right. So Jack couldn't fit on the door. That's what you're saying.
Definitely
Floating
not,
door.
no.
No. Owen, could he have fit on
He
that?
was
Could
always-
he
he
survive?
was
Or
always
was he
a
a goner?
goner.
Yeah.
I think you're missing the symbolism of it. I don't think he was meant to fit on the door. I think it was the gesture of he died for her survival, for her to go on. He gave his life for her.
Oh, she had so much to lose.
How many people
Absolutely
can you
loaded.
fit on a wooden-
It should have been the other way around. She said, "I've got everything. You have nothing. Let me give you what I have."
He
And
died
you,
for love.
Georgia.
He died for love.
Oh, what's that get you?
The whole
She
premise
got
of
to
the
New
film-
York and found some Yankee. I was loving life. Jack who?
That's hypothetical. He died for love. And you still thought of him to the day when they pulled it up in the other side story at the end, where they ask her where the jewel was, and she throws it off the boat.
That's in the alternative ending, isn't it? Is
Yeah, that's the alternative. Isn't it?
She doesn't. She doesn't chuck it over.
No, she does.
Yeah, she
no,
throws
she
it.
no, she drops it because they're all like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
Oh yeah.
You seen the old bitch?
She
Fucking loaded. That's the only reason why you're out here with you.
gives it
Why
back
would
to
you
the
do
sea.
that?
She gives it back to the sea.
So she
The
recognised...
dolphin's like, "Cheers, mate." Oh, yeah. This is a fair family heirloom.
Yeah.
I feel like if you think Jack could have fit on the board, you've missed the point of that gesture. The symbolism of it. The whole point is that
Do you know what he should have done?
He's not supposed
he
to fit on the
should. He
board.
should have done. He should have done a Terminator thing. Just done the whole thumbs up,
Yeah,
going
just
down the
sunk,
water. Right, let's move on to the penultimate movie of James Cameron's filmography, which is actually since he did Titanic in '97, he's only made 2 movies since then. So Avatar.
Oh god, the one he's going to do 8 more times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Avatar, the first Avatar movie. So George, you're still in the lead. The rating and your thoughts, Avatar. What is your general? Because I feel like Avatar is that movie where I speak to a lot of people and they go, it doesn't deserve to gross that much money or be that popular. It's not that great.
I think as like a nerd in terms of the way the films are made versus just the story of a film, I think it deserved to make the money because of the sheer amount of technology and everything that went into it. But in terms of like a story, it's like is it Last Mohicans or Dances with Wolves or whatever is pretty much the same story. It's like a
Oh no, it would be about Fern Gully and stuff like that, right?
sure.
Yeah.
No, is it not like outsider goes to like a native place?
Oh right.
and
Yeah.
They kind of take them in, and then you have to fight against where the person has come from and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's,
Like,
I suppose it's using the old stories, but
It's been
changed
done
up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. It's been
Yeah.
done before, and it's just in space, and it's got the stupidest names for stuff. Unobtainium is the fucking ridiculous name for the chemical or whatever the mineral that they're trying to find, which is bollocks. And Avatar 2 did the same sort of bollocks, like with the stupid whale stuff that like cures life. Anyway, we'll get to that. I think like the story itself is pretty shit, but the visual effects are so stunning and it's so breathtaking. And I watched it in 3D in the cinema with my dad, and I was like, this is actually amazing. Watching it at home is just not the same. I have a friend whose long running joke with his fiance is that every year he buys her a copy of Avatar. And
well, because she hates it.
yeah,
Right, okay.
Like he says it's her favourite film, so he just keeps buying her copies of Avatar.
That's the reason why it's made so much money.
Yeah, exactly,
Let's
yeah, it's
buy
just
Avatar every
like-
fucking year. It's not Disney Plus. Just watch it on Disney Plus.
I think it deserves to make the money. I don't think it deserves like as much hype.
Yeah.
Apart from the technological side of things, it doesn't deserve the hype. The story's pretty shit. It just looks amazing.
Do you think that if it wasn't 3D and it wasn't like technologically advanced for the time, it was kind of like that first kind of big, this is a proper 3D experience, would it have made that much money if it didn't have that 3D to rely on?
It
No,
was riding the hysteria of the 3D TV, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Product
it's
at that
before
time.
the 3D TV.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
3D
This is
TV came out
2000. This is
with the result.
2009. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because from that point when Avatar was so successful because it's 3D, this is when all the studios are like, we're going to make every movie
Yeah.
with 3D, but we're not actually going to film it in 3D like James Cameron. We're going to convert it using the 3D software.
God, what?
And none of the scenes are going to be in 3D. You're only paying the extra surcharge to watch it in focus.
Yeah.
That's literally the only reason
Yeah.
why you were paying 3D for like, a lot of movies like Clash of the Titans, like Wrath of the Titans, and
Harry Potter.
all this. Yeah, all of them.
Whoever thought 3D TVs in the average living room were going to take off?
So let's call my dad because he's got one. My dad's got 3D TV. Never used it.
I've never.
He doesn't watch movies.
I don't know anyone who ever bought a 3D TV.
Yeah, he bought 3D TV. I was like, Dad, you don't even watch movies. There's no channels that are 3D.
He got- Oh,
He didn't
he
even
bought
get-
into it, didn't he? He got suckered.
He got absolutely.
He walked into a Curry's and they were like, "Oh, all the rage. You need this one."
We literally went to a Curry's and the guy.
Yeah, there you go.
He did actually try to sell us a 4K TV, but this is like 2010.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, there's literally no point because there's nothing on 4K at the
can
moment.
watch,
There's
yeah.
no point. But my dad has a 3D TV.
How does a 3D TV work then? Do you have to wear glasses?
No, but
Not for
you-
normal. It's only for watching stuff in 3D.
in 3D. You can still watch normal things. so
Yeah.
it's also I go to my dad's house. The TV is a 3D TV, but
He's like, I hope you bought your glasses.
oh shit, I forgot mine. I've got my one from the Sun newspaper. That one.
Well, the red
the
and
red,
green.
yeah, the red and blue ones. Yeah.
I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2 in 3D because it was the only viewing that was on that night when we went. And it was the only viewing was a 3D viewing. And it was the worst fucking experience I've ever had. I had a headache within about 15 minutes.
I can say I watched Gravity in IMAX 3D, and that was incredible. I'd say that was pretty.
I mean,
But then again, that is kind of made for that
Yeah, yeah.
experience.
I mean, I see enough Chris Pratt as it is. I don't need to see him in 3D.
Oh shit, it's in the same room.
I've said it before, but I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in IMAX 3D,
Wow.
and everybody else hates the film. I think one of the things that saved the film for me was watching it in IMAX 3D
Elevated the material.
because it gave the sense of scale, like for being in the quantum realm and the tiny little details. I think really helped.
Do you know that Quantumania is in the top 3 of the biggest box office
Yeah.
losers of the
Yeah,
year? It's lost. The biggest
did it
loser
come out?
was Indiana Jones this year. It's lost like 500 million.
What? There was an Ant-Man film this year?
It's a third. Yeah.
Quantumania.
Didn't even know.
And everyone said
I've
it came
spoken
out
about
because
it.
it was bad. It was a bad movie. It wasn't great because it went away from like the small scale Ant-Man movies, then went massive scale for no reason. Like
Yeah.
it's, but anyway, we're not on a Marvel episode.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Avatar.
Yeah, that's what I'm
So
talking about.
your rating for Avatar, bear in mind Titanic was 75, which you already was disgusted by. Is it higher or lower than Titanic on 75?
I think it has to be higher than Titanic. I like to think the critics will look at I know I have said that critics mainly focus on story, but I like to think that they've thought about the whole filmmaking process. So it has to be a bit higher than 75.
Okay.
I'm going to say that it is not too high because, again, the story is shit. I'm going to say 82.
82, so you go a little bit higher
Yeah.
with 82. Owen, Avatar.
Can I just say, by George's logic of scoring, if that was the case, Titanic would be at 100.
That's a good point.
If
That's
critics
it.
thought about all aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did Titanic do so badly? Hang on.
So
Oh, well, too late now.
What was your score?
82.
82.
I think it's definitely lower than 82.
It's lower than 82.
Yeah.
But do you think it's higher than 75? Do you think it's higher than that
No,
Titanic
I
75?
don't.
So you think it's lower than Titanic 75?
Yeah.
So you're going lower.
Yep. I have never seen it.
What?
Wait, okay. I'm going to say Zuki not watching Titanic is pretty mad. I don't think I know many people who haven't watched Avatar.
It's just never interested me.
I mean, I would say not seeing Titanic is worse than not seeing Avatar, but I feel like everyone has watched. I mean, even people who don't go to the cinema for 25 years watch Avatar
think
because
you'd be
everyone's
surprised.
going to watch it.
I think you'd be surprised. Wow. I could make a phone call right now to someone who I know for a fact hasn't seen it.
Why? Because they're inbred from Northampton. They live in a shed. Do they?
We don't have cinema.
Because they look like people from Avatar.
Alright, we've got 4 fingers. We've got a fucking tail.
They're like, come to Northampton, it's Pandora.
Whenever they want to have
Get there.
sex, they braid their hair together.
Is that what they do in the film?
Yeah, they bond officially with
You lot
their
are thinking
like.
of Peterborough.
Oh, right.
We're slightly less inbred than Peterborough, but they're worse.
Are we? I'd say Northampton's probably more
Peterborough's
important than Peterborough.
worse.
Is it?
Have you been to Peterborough?
I've
fair.
been to the train station.
Yeah,
that was enough.
I've been to the train station.
I think it's shit.
Right.
We've not watched the film. How can you
No,
say that?
let him have
shit.
his...
Well, it looks crap. Right.
The
okay.
new one looks shit as well. No interest in seeing that. Have you seen the new one?
Yeah.
Have you seen the new one?
Yeah.
God, you got fucking.
We
the
literally
other
spoke about this earlier.
Look,
in
we're
this
on a film podcast. We go to watch movies.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
what we do.
big... Like,
We're
certain
going to watch-
films you should just go and watch.
I said this to Zuki on the way here. I'm really excited tomorrow to watch Oppenheimer because I've seen 2 people review it poorly. Like me personally, I think it's going to be brilliant. Although I didn't like Dunkirk and I haven't seen Tenet, but I heard bad things about it.
Tenet's not great.
And I feel like
It's alright.
Nolan is really obsessed with time. Like you look at Memento, Inception, Tenet,
Prestige.
Dunkirk. It's like he always tries to play around with time, and I'm hoping that he doesn't do that in Oppenheimer. I'm hoping he just lets the film flow naturally and doesn't time jump or fuck
It
around.
does
with
time jump.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It
fuck's
does.
sake.
The thing is, like,
Why
I
is
think,
he obsessed with
Yeah,
time?
I think with Oppenheimer is that obviously it goes obviously in order, but then it does skip to a few years later with the aftermath of the events that happen,
Well-
which I think that's fair.
It
Yeah,
was so unnecessary in Dunkirk. But we've done Dunkirk in the past, so I'll move on. But my point with that is,
the anger. There's literally steam coming out of Owen
I'm
George right now.
excited.
The way the Dunkirk just triggers him.
I'm excited to all of us come out of the cinema because we've never been cinema as a group before. I'm excited to come out of the cinema and hear everyone's individual opinions on the film. Because I reckon someone's going to come out of it and be like, I really didn't like that. And everyone else is going to be like, really offended.
And then we're not going to see Barbie together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be a fight and we're going to go to separate cinemas. To
Yeah,
see
we're going
Barbie.
to be a 4-hour gap to try and bridge that opinion of like,
Yeah.
come on, look, George, you love Owen. Owen, you love George. It's okay. Let's go all enjoy the Barbie movie
It
together.
depends who wins this episode.
Yeah, that's very true. So with that
Speaking
point,
of,
you're going lower than
Yeah.
75.
Yeah.
What are you going with? What number?
What do you think? 74?
You're going with 74.
Yeah,
Remind
of course I
us.
you can tell he's desperate.
George, remind us what you went with.
I went with 80. Fuck, what did I say? 82?
82?
82, I think.
82.
Yeah.
82, 74. So, Owen, you're incorrect.
Yes!
George.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm
did
more
that last
excited, you
time.
know. Avatar's on 83.
Oh, I'm so close.
You're so close
Is
to
that
George.
game over?
I think it is.
Let's have a look, actually. Yeah, it's because you're wrong. So you're 4 points behind with 1 film to go.
If you get it spot on, I'll give you the win.
Oh,
If
oh,
I- if
you've
I
heard
get it-
this
Oh,
first.
confidence.
If I get it wrong, and so if I go lower and it's higher, for example, if
Yeah.
I get 0 and
Yeah.
you get a spot on, I'll let you win.
Don't edit this out.
No, because...
I won't edit it out.
Oh, are you sure?
100%.
You're changing the rules?
I'm for this one, because we are in person, I've had a bit.
I don't think I can allow it.
You've had
You
2
can't
shots.
I
allow
don't
it.
think I can't allow this.
Allow it.
We can't
You've
be
been
going...
outvoted 2-1.
If you really want to do this, this is on both of you. It's not on me.
It's on God.
It's on God. Yeah.
God doesn't exist.
God is my witness.
Don't make me
No,
go
I
on.
don't-
Don't
I
make
just
me
want
go on
to
a
ask the
religion.
audience.
I don't fucking give a shit.
The Christian church could be passing this around.
You have got to just
yeah,
literally confirm
so
that
we're
aliens
PG.
exist. Fuck's sake.
We're PG.
Not PG.
Christians could be handing this around saying
No,
12-year-old fans
we
of
have-
God listen to this podcast.
we have an
It's child-friendly.
explicit rating
Yeah,
on Spotify.
PG.
yeah.
PG. Puny God. Right, so George, are you confirming right now?
I have to get it wrong.
This is
So-
a disclaimer. You're
Yeah,
saying
so.
this.
For example, if it is higher, if the next one is higher than Avatar, and I said lower,
Right.
I am wrong. But he also has to get it spot on.
It's got to get spot on.
spot on.
So his 3 points would then become 5.
yeah,
Is it? Can I just say, is it Avatar 2?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's even harder because I haven't fucking seen it.
That's your fault.
Watch movies, man. Right, Avatar 2, The Way of Water, is the last film on our list. So, higher or lower than Avatar on 83, George Robinson?
So, as I alluded to earlier, there are certain things in it that I'm like, that looks amazing. All of the stuff at the top level water, I think looks great. There's stuff where they've blended like real world with CGI. Like there's the scene of, and it was in the trailer, of someone tying a knot onto the saddle of one of the water flying things.
Yeah.
But it's like a close up on the hands. And Corridor Crew did something where they were like, how is that not real? And it turned out to be a blend of both of them. Like that sort of stuff is phenomenal. There is so much stuff in terms of the battle with the burning down ship and all the smoke, and it's the crap thing where like no one can do smoke. Like Marvel has done it wrong every time
Yeah.
they tried. Like explosions and smoke seems to have got really shit. And when you're comparing it to like some like beautiful water and the characters which look insane, and you've got this weird kind of background nonsense going on. It was just a bit jarring and just a bit shit, and the story was fucking dreadful.
And I think if he also as well, like 13 years between, 13 years between Avatar and Avatar 2, if you think, he hasn't worked in that time, he's obviously just been working on the second and the subsequent sequels, I think 4 or 5. Then
and the Ariana Trench has been working on that.
Yeah. But in terms of feature films, he's only done 2 in the last 13 years.
Yeah.
And both obviously being Avatar.
Do
you feel like it was actually like worth that wait?
No,
For people, especially who are fans of Avatar, is it worth that 13-year wait? Do you think that the technology has evolved so much to the point that it's been worth that wait? Is that much of an advancement on the first film?
I think there's nothing surprising in the story at all. It's always like of course it's going to be just the same shit again.
But
just in the water. And then the next one will be fire people.
Or underground.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're doing the Avatar Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Which is...
all the different, like, elements.
The nations, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the Fire Nation attack. Like, that sort of shit. And I think it's just so... It took something which was unoriginal to start with the first Avatar, and made it even less original. And it's just so predictable. So if it didn't look good, I think it would be panned. But it looked pretty. So it looked pretty.
Yeah.
Prometheus looked pretty. That was shit.
I like Prometheus.
You?
I actually quite like Prometheus, yeah.
Do you?
I prefer Alien Covenant.
No, Prometheus.
I like the bit where he says, "Would you like me to do the finger?"
But Avatar...
Oh, it's favourite movie. Get a t-shirt of it.
Yeah.
We'll get you for the next podcast.
To be fair, that's not a bad shout. That's a really good
we
t-shirt.
should do that. Yeah. Let me do the finger. Just have his face in the back.
Yeah.
His agent would sign off on it. He signs on everything.
He did Assassin's Creed.
Got me the fucking Snowman film.
Oh,
remember that piece of shit?
Sure, I've only seen clips of that, but I do want to watch the whole film. It's supposed to be an atrocity.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes.
Avatar: Way of Water. I think it's got to be lower than the original because it just didn't do anything better. It did the same stuff as well, and there were some nice water effects, but other than that, it's pretty shit. And yeah, so what was Avatar? 83.
Yeah.
I'm going to go lower.
I think it's nice.
I'm going to go lower, and I'm going to say that it is down to 72.
72. Okay, another movie to end on with Owen he hasn't watched.
Yep, that's it. I think it's 61.
You think it's 61?
Yeah,
So
I've been thinking about it the whole time.
Just so you know,
Yeah,
for you to win,
yeah.
it would need to be higher because I've gone lower, and you have to get a spot on. So you going lower,
Or
makes
would you
no
still
sense
just like
for
to
me.
get a spot
Okay.
on? You could
Unless
still
you still want to get a spot on,
You
and
can
just,
still get a
you
spot
can
on.
have a round of applause.
What was your
Yeah.
My score was 72.
Yeah,
I'm
72.
going to go with 77.
So you're
So
still
still
going
go
lower,
lower.
but
Because you have to go lower than the last film, which was 83.
Yeah, which is lower, 77.
Okay, sorry, you need to go higher than the
Than the previous film.
to win.
What was the previous film?
83.
Okay,
Avatar.
84.
Fucking hell.
I don't know how this has happened because we've gone from George dominator within the first 2 hours being 6-1 up. Owen has had an absolute blinder and has come back. And somehow George has made you seem like an absolute idiot in this last film. He's made some ridiculous deal with you. Obviously, you're incorrect. George is right in being low. He hasn't got a spot on, so he'll get the 2 points. Owen, you get no points. So the final score is George 14, Owen 8.
What's the rate?
Oh, the rating. So I keep forgetting that part.
Main part of
60,
the podcast.
67 is the rating of Avatar
good.
2.
It's not good. Don't watch it.
So I will update the score. So the last episode was George 13, Owen 10. So you've got a much better result in this time. So let me just update.
I think
that.
it's a hollow victory because I've got a bit of a headache.
Oh baby!
Suddenly,
Oh
the
baby!
excuse is coming out.
Oh well, let's end it there because he's got a headache. He needs to get some
gonna lie
liquid.
down.
He needs to lie down because he's an old man. Wait, oh yeah, sorry. George's got to give a recommendation.
Can't give
apparently.
my recommendation.
Here we go. Give a recommendation of a film that we're not going to watch.
I still.
Well, I did watch The Grey Man.
Oh,
I did watch The Grey Man.
Yeah, not too shit. Everyone said it was super
Pretty
shit.
bad.
Although,
It was pretty bad.
we have to watch it
enjoyable.
between episodes, and on our track record, the next episode could be in 4 months' time, so it gives
The
me plenty of time to
Yeah,
watch
but you
it.
still haven't watched any of the other.
The reason
What were the other
recommendations.
recommendations?
John Wick 2.
I haven't seen John Wick.
Grey
I know I
Man,
have.
Stardust.
Nope.
The reason why we don't let Owen do it because he does TV shows. No one has time to watch a 10-hour TV show.
I do think we should put in that you have to watch the recommendation.
Predator.
Oh, Prey.
Pray.
Yeah,
Watch that.
I'd watch that one. We need to give you
It's
this one.
my
We need to make a
audience,
list.
not for me. I'm being punished enough by getting beaten.
Well, do fucking better.
Yeah.
Watch movies and then you'll know. So, George, your recommendation for us. So you've won again. So what is your recommendation for this episode?
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Seen it.
Great film.
Great
Yeah.
film.
Fantastic film.
Great film.
Like, I knew it'd be good going into it, and I was so happy the entire way through.
I saw that on your letterbox. You gave it 5 stars.
Yeah.
So for people who haven't watched it or heard of it, what is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent about?
It's Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, but in the best way. Like, it's so self-referential.
It's meta, isn't it?
It's so
Yeah.
meta, and like,
So Nicolas Cage plays himself.
Yeah, exactly,
He is Nicolas. He's Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal is
Pascal's
like
in
a
it,
super
amazing,
fan
yeah.
and pays for him to come to his island for a couple of days, spend some time with him, and
As Nicolas Cage.
as Nicolas
As Nicolas
Cage,
Cage.
and then kind of pitches him a script that he's written that he'd
Yeah.
like him to do. But it's a very trippy, even as like a non-Nick Cage person, like
Yeah.
you would still enjoy it, right?
100%. Yeah, I think everything about it is pretty perfect. The main crux of the story is completely irrelevant. It's just an enjoyable time. So,
Just
yeah.
two guys who enjoy their company, and that's it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So go and watch that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the recommendation, George. I think that is available on Netflix in the UK at the moment, so go watch it on there. That has been The Rated Is Right. You can contact us at theratedisright@gmail.com if you have any questions or would like us to discuss any particular subjects. Thank you again for listening. We hope to hear from you soon.
Follow us on TikTok.
Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and you can listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Podcasts.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
It's the rating. It's the rating. Rating. It's the rating. It's the rating.
The Rating is Right podcast is hosted by Ian Crowe and co-hosted by George Robinson and Owen Cox. The show is edited by George Robinson with music by Will Butler. You can find the podcast on Instagram under the handle The Rating is Right, or you can contact the hosts on their email address, theratingisright@gmail.com, if you have any suggestions or want to discuss your thoughts on previous episodes. Thanks for listening.